First game we drew, second game we lost, and now we go to the MTN 8 quarterfinals. And if you are like me, you have your fingers crossed and hoping that just something might happen and we win this game. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's talk about it in this video. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a Khosi Football Club. I know good people missed these videos because I have not uploaded a video since when? Since Tuesday. All the videos that I've been uploading are for people reacting. And I actually want to start by talking about that because I saw that the views went down significantly when I was just posting other people talking and there was less of me talking. So I guess the reality is some people subscribe to the channel because of me or whatever. So I have a question. What is the problem that you guys have with the interviews that I do after the games? And please, if you're a regular member of this channel and you watch the videos, please guys tell me because I need this feedback. Because if I'm traveling, like tomorrow, I'm going to Cape Town. I spend money to go to Cape Town. So if you don't give me feedback, then I won't know, and I won't know what to do to make my content better. Because if maybe your problem, for instance, is the fact that they speak other languages that you don't understand, then I would take note to that and try to make sure, Guti, maybe I conduct the interviews in English if that's the issue. If the issue is the other videos, because I posted other videos which were, one was 8 minutes and then the other one, Gamen P, was 3 minutes, Ega Bulelang was 2 minutes, and those got views, it was okay. So whatever problem that you have, maybe it could be the language, the second one could be the length of the video, the third one could be maybe the fact that I upload the videos even after the day of the game. Maybe if you want me to upload all of them at once, or maybe compile them into one video, 30 minutes, because if I combined all of them, the video is just going to be a long 40-minute video, 40-minute long video. So please tell me in my comments, Uguti, what do you think I can do to make sure that you enjoy those post-match videos from the fans just after the game? Because as I said, I'm also trying to make this a platform for fans where they can speak, but then again, it doesn't help me if you are not watching, and obviously I don't want you to watch something that you don't enjoy. So tell me what you want me to do to make those videos more enjoyable, and then I will do it because this content is created for you. Anyways, let's talk about Chiefs versus Cape Town City because, yeah, Cape Town City is a team that's dangerous. I talked to Bulelangi and he was talking about how Cape Town City is a small team, and a lot of people we still say those things. Uguti Cape Town City, a small team. I don't think that works anymore. That logic, as much as I would like to agree, but sometimes it's true. Uguti, historically, they might be a small team, but now it Chiefs with their performances, they make even the worst team look good. Like we played against the Chippa United in our first league game, and we made them look decent because they still created chances, and we had to do some last-ditch defending. So let's look at how our defense did, how our midfield did, and how our strikers did, and how our technical team did. Because we're going to look at it and see how the team can fix it to play better against Cape Town City. Because if you look at Cape Town City, you're going to find the exact, almost the same style as the Sundowns. Trying to press, trying to keep position, and be dominant. That's what they do. The difference is that obviously Cape Town City doesn't have as much quality as Sundowns, but they do have a coach who is very smart and knows what he's doing, and the way that he sets up his team, in such a way that he would exploit you if umzela. So please subscribe to the channel, by the way, if you enjoy this type of content. So starting with our defense, the only mistake that they made in the previous game is one that we have always complained about, because people are going to start to do Peterson, who is part of it defense. So I'm counting him as part of it defense. One thing that happened in the game that we lost against the Pirates, people are saying Peterson cost us that game. He didn't. They say he cost us the game because he didn't save the ball. Njani, because Umteto just came across and then he headed the ball. If you have played football, you know if you're a keeper, you're not gonna dive umuntu header like 2 meters from you and then you're gonna dive 3 meters that way. It's not gonna happen. On that day when we lost to Pirates, it was Uhlanti, not Dove, who were caught sleeping and the ball was played between them and then were punished. Same thing against the Sundowns. Yes. So Peterson ultimately makes the biggest mistake. But Uhlanti switched off and then Umayema ran past Uhlanti and then Uhlanti was trying to catch up. He couldn't get the pass. And then he's 1v1 with the keeper, but it was something that the keeper was supposed to save. What was the keeper supposed to do better? The keeper at the time, he was so focused on catching the ball and playing a counter because that's what we were trying to do at the time, because it was just adrenaline rushing. We've scored a goal, we can score another one. And that was a mistake of a keeper. But let's remember, Ugutu Peterson in that game, he saved us a lot of times. Like that game could have been over. Like Iko Dupre wasn't even going to count because Sundowns would have been leading 4-0 at the time that we scored Iko Dupre. So the hope that people think Peterson took from us was never there, to be honest. And I don't like this thing of always just isolating one player as if it was his sole responsibility. And the first goal also, people are blaming Peterson because he passed Castillo. And I will say there are more people responsible for that. Yes, the goalkeeper could have gone long. That's the first option. The second one is Castillo and I could have hit the ball first time. The third one is Msimang was already signaling for the ball to be hit long, while he could have stretched wide and provided an option for goalkeeper. And then by going wide, the Brazilian kid would have been dragged towards him, opening space for Matt Ostebe to come and collect the ball. So there were a lot of things that could have been done well, yet people are just zooming in and saying it's the goalkeeper who made a mistake. But you look at all those things, Ugutu Titlok was making himself available in that angle. Msimango could have done the same. Now, this is not to say they suck, nah. I'm just saying, look at all the possibilities that could have happened if Msimango played his role, if Ustebe, if Umat played their role in a different way than they did. Because even the fact that Castillo was the only one showing for the ball, although Umat and Ustebe, no Castillo all playing in a line, because beba 3, so kulma coach in a minute, but only one person was showing for the ball for his support playing out from the back, yet there were 3 of them who were playing as midfielders. It doesn't make sense because we've seen Uguti Chiefs playing a double pivot. They both drop to collect the ball because I want a chance Uguti uzo dlali bola from the back if you're only playing with Utitlokwe and then Msimango as your center backs, they are the only ones who are going to be options that you can pass the ball to. There must be another person who's going to drop to make or give more options. Look at Amayama teams. Look at Aboman City. They were playing last night. Or Arsenal, they do this. Even Sundowns themselves. There's a goalkeeper when they're playing out from the back. And then there are center backs in the box. And then the central midfielder drops in to collect the ball. And then the right back will provide width. They are pushed so far high very quickly, and because of that we are forced to go high and we are not even accurate with those long passes. So if we at least were accurate with our long passes, then it would justify why we rush to kick the ball and be direct. But since we are trying to be direct but we are not even accurate with our passing, we end up losing the ball, and in that way we are just inviting more and more pressure each and every minute of the game. And because of that, each team ends up just being fatigued because all you are basically doing is you are getting tired because you are marking and chasing the ball the entire 90 minutes. So those are the goals, those are the mistakes that could have been fixed, and that could still be fixed because right now the things that we're talking about, we're looking at the things that went wrong in the previous game and how they can be fixed. So since we're playing, we're trying to play from the back and teams are pressing, Cape Town City would be pressing, we should have more options. And this does not only apply to when we're playing out from the back, it applies in every sense, in every way. I said this against Chipa Uguti. Usaile is one of those players who gets the ball, chases after the ball. When it gets to the ball, there is no option. So he beats the first player. It's like, yeah, Saile is doing a good job. And then there's no support. Agna Muntu coming to support him. And then he beats the second player. And then he can't beat the third because it's either abantu are running away from him or they are not availing themselves in a situation whereby he can just pick the pass easily and make his own move. These are basics. These are things that I was taught. Angikho mnandi ebholeni, I've always said this, but I knew the basics. If my teammate has the ball, I should provide an option. Uguti, hey, I'm here, I'm available. I get the ball from them, I pass the ball to someone else. I avail myself. And before I even get the ball, I should know Uguti who's going to get this ball from me. Because I know in movement, or I see Uguti, this is what he's trying to do. But with Chiefs, it's like, they don't understand each other's movements because it's still a new team or whatever. The point is, it's not just about to go to a new team. It's also just having football brains. If Usaile has the ball and it doesn't have support, Usaile is marked by a left back and is also marked by a left winger. So it's 2-on-1 on Saile. Why is Frosler not supporting him? Okay, Frosler is pinned back by whoever, Masego in that case. So why is Umati not supporting? Obviously, Mati is not going to try and support him because the instructions from the coach is that your job today is to just defend. So we don't have numbers going forward. How on earth are we going to try and get the ball further upfield? Because if we're there to defend the whole game, then so how are you going to get anything out of the game? Or was the aim of the game to just get a 0-0 draw and go back? I don't get it. So we don't support each other, and it's evident. It was evident in the first game, but in the second game, it just looked like we were just scared and we chose to defend and we didn't do anything that was impressive. Which brings me to a player who I thought was one of our best players, if not, I think he was our best player. Yabo Peterson, if you take out the mistakes, he was there, but also Frosler. Clearly, Umaseg was the outlet and they tried to feed him the ball all the time. And Frosler was there. Wapelela. I was so impressed with Frosler, and tomorrow he might be key for us again. Uguti Abe that defensively solid. So the only thing that obviously Masego being wide and pressing him and trying to make sure Uguti he stays back is that he wasn't available going forward because Masego was trying by all means to get in behind it every chance that he got. But still, Frosler did a good job and he deserves a shout out for that. Was by far our best player. And then we move on to our midfield and how our midfielders did. Our midfielders, if you look at the transfer market, they're gonna tell you Guti position wise Umat to Stebe are central midfielders. But also if you watch Chiefs every week, you know Guti Mat and Stebe are similar as players. Angimba Lucas still because he's a defensive midfielder, and we've established Guti that one is the one who's our defensive midfielder. So tomorrow, if we're playing against the Cape Town City, you can't play those three together because the two, by Fana, it's the same player. So if you're playing them together, one of them is going to look horrible. Last season, it was usually Matt. That's how I saw it. But in this game, Bobabili were just flat. A lot of people, of course, were saying Ustebe because a lot of people, for some reason, don't like Ustebe. But he did have very poor moments going forward. But why is that? Because they are picking up the same areas Benumat. But ngathi nje abazi ukuthi benzani. Defensively ubumbone usiza ngale kufrost uSteb. Umathi naye nje ubevela duku ngambona ukuthi ukuphi this time, because when we're in Durban he was doing what uSteb was doing when we're playing against Sundowns, because he was covering for Frost when we're in Durban. But this time around, that role was taken by Usteb. And then Umati wangambona ukuthi wenzani. Mawumbona, it's when he's losing the ball, or Usteb, and if he's not defending when he has the ball, he just loses it. And I feel like there was a lot of information which wasn't clear enough, because if 4-2-3-1 ledlalwa Chiefs, usually it's two, the double pivots, and then the one odlala 10 phambi. But this time it was 1-2-3. Bebe straight, kui 4-3-3 a flat. I've never seen a flat 4-3-3. I have never. A flat 4-3-3 where all the players are in the same line, go to our defensive midfielders. Hey man. I really questioned so yeah, coach, the way he set up that midfield, and set up the players who play the same kind of football. There was no creativity that we were getting because when we won the ball, the Sundowns were there pouncing, trying to get the ball back because there was no forward pass that's possible to be played because the midfielders, are in the same defensive line. So if you are going to try and win the ball back when Tebe, the option that you have is passing lo muntu lo who's horizontal to you, and it's easy to block those passes. Abadlali bavele nje ba block bangene phakathi kwenu ba recover, and the front line, in fact, they are the ones who come back to block those passes. If you are now trying to find your wingers, the midfielders, the Sundowns, asewablockile lawo mapass. Ngapha uFrost la uyanqena ukuoverlap because uMaseko is pinning him back. So in a way, it ended up being that situation once again yokuthi, why are we not adapting then to changing the situation yokuthi they are stopping our passes going forward? So then let's stop running in behind. Let's drop and collect the ball. Which leads me to strikers, because what happened with Uranga, he's the one who was the victim of this. Ranga, guys, is not a striker you want to play as a false nine. Ranga is a striker that you want to keep in the box as much as possible. But what the Chiefs did against the Chipa, what the Chiefs did against the Sundowns, was to take Uranga from being a number 9 and drop him into midfield as a number 10 because we didn't have a number 10. So Uranga was dropping into midfield to collect the ball. But now the thing is, he was getting the ball, playing it wide to Umoti, or playing it wide to, was playing in another wing, Utupri. And when he did that, Utupri with his pace, or Modi with his pace, Telele runs forward. When he runs forward, now Segmela cross the ball. Uranga, remember, he dropped to collect the ball and supply. So Uranga is still catching up, trying to get into the 18 area. And people are saying, hey, Uranga looks extremely unfit. No, it's because you're asking him to cover more ground than he's supposed to. And now he's playing catch up because he has to collect the ball and then run into the box. So by the time we get into the box, there is no longer anyone who's there to pass the ball to. And if you look at what happened when we scored that goal with Dupri, at the time, it was now easier for him Uguti in the box because now there was a player like Upotsane, there was a player like I forgot Bafak Saile, Bafak Upotsane, and then in midfield Bafak Sabel Hatebe, which is something we're going to talk about when we talk about the subs in a minute. But now the shape had slightly, ever so slightly changed to Guti. Now there's Uhatebe who's in a more advanced position, and Upotsane who can come into midfield and try to do something, win the ball. Because also if you look at how he scored that goal, Potsane was nicking the ball off, and then Utupri is making the run. Potsane wins the ball and then ends up crossing, and then we end up getting the goal somehow. But the difference is that in that case, Utupri was not the one who went to collect the ball, pass it. It was different because in Lele team that was set up in was no longer like Uguti Dupri, you are playing as a 10. But it was now your runs, your pace is going to allow us to get into the box as quickly as possible. And you can't get that from Uranga. And if you are going to also depend on the system where Dupri is the number 9, and you're also going to ask him to drop and run faster, then you're going to get him injured because it might work and then his pace might allow him to collect and then run. But in the long term, it's not sustainable because you're asking a player to cover way too much ground. You need a player like Uranga to be in your box, play the ball, get it to him, and then he scores. But this thing, Yoguta or Dropper, is definitely not going to work for him. It's definitely not going to work for anyone. So, yeah, I didn't understand that setup because Nabo Modishem, they tried getting the ball, begging Zeklut. Initially, I thought, you know what, he's also coming from mourning the passing of his mother, but no, it had nothing to do with that. It just had to do with the bad setup that the team had, which speaks to the subs that we made. Saile was fine. Potsane was fine. But Sundowns as Utebo Homkwena, and at the time they were about to introduce Abobuganzung. And when are you going to say today out of all days against Sundowns, we're going to trust Usabelo Hatebe? Don't get me wrong, Usabelo Hatebe is a good player. But that's a pressure game. That's a high pressure game. And Usabelo Hatebe has not even been playing in simple games last season. So now you're going to throw him at the deep end of the pool against the Sundowns. And vele, if you look at the players omkwena, they are huge. They are huge players. Umkwena kwi-TV bengibona ukuthi is a tall dude. But mase ngimbona in person egroundini, cha lo yamdlali mude and physical uyambona mkhulu. And uzomdlalisa uzothi akadlale noSabela akazomakana noSabela. Obviously umkwena is going to win that battle, and you're going to end up not seeing anything that Hadebe is doing, and you're going to say we are better. Ikinto ka Hadebe. No, akusikho ikinto ka Hadebe. It's because it's a mismatch. The player who could have gotten in there is a player at least on experience yokudlala even with people physically challenging. Bring on Umdantsane. Bring on a player even like Umdusha Balala, because at least he has played in pressure situations. But uzofaka uSabelo Hadebe in a pressure game engakazadlale kulama game amakhulu in recent seasons. What are you expecting? What kind of sub is that? I didn't get it. I didn't get the setup coach, and I hope tomorrow, even if tomorrow I wouldn't change anything in the starting 11 except in the midfield, because I would keep Castillo, probably keep one of Ustebe or Matt, one of them, not both of them, and then play Umdantsane, play Umshini, or play Umdu, one of those other players, or play two of those other players, because you are going to need a creative spark going forward. I wouldn't recommend playing Umdu no Mshini, because then again you have one player in Mshini who's not that good defensively. So that's why I'm saying I would keep Umat, because we still need solidity defensively, or I would keep Ustebe for defensive solidity, and then the other player would be the creative one, because also Castillo is very creative as much as he's a defensive midfielder, but if someone that he's playing with who's also creative, who's constantly moving, which makes Umtu an ideal situation. Yoguti Umtu moves around a lot at groundini, and it would be ideal to play in the game here in Cape Town City as well. So we'll see what he's going to do. Umtu Mdantsane or Umtu Shabalala, one of the two. Both of them can kind of fit. But Ugutu Dlalos Tebe no Mat at the same time, I don't see how that happens. And also, I'll just say this. Uguti, what I don't like so far about Ipolalganseg is the fact that with the Polalgazwane, he's still in the technical team. We created chances and we missed them, which is where Uranga would have come in Epolalgazwane. But so far, Gulgansegi has created a chance, and that's concerning, because Aksiku good ish, we need a striker coach. Now it's like we're not even creative enough to make chances, and that's a concern of mine. But hopefully, we've learned a lesson from the previous game, and I hope we can go out and destroy Cape Town City. What do you think about tomorrow's game against Cape Town City? I will be there at Lone Stadium, and I will see the guys who will be there as well. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I've been sick. And until next time, remember, Khosi, Alpelo Moy.